All right, everybody, welcome back to Miss Nelson Teaches Econ in the Shower. I hope that you've been enjoying your time here as we are spending on Unit 4. Now we're really getting into the nitty gritty of supply and demand when it comes to economics. So I'm going to enter here and stand right over here. So today we're going to be talking about a shift in demand. And what I mean by that is we're going to be talking about the line actually moving at this point. So up to this point, we've talked about the points on supply and demand lines moving up and down based on the price. If the price changes, there's movement along the actual line or curve itself. But now we're going to get into what actually makes a line shift when we're talking about demand and supply. And that happens right here. This says a change in quantity, not in the price, shifts the demand line. So what that means is that any other factors that could affect the reason and quantity being demanded, anything else can shift the line. But price does not ever shift a line, okay? So what the formal term and the formal definition is any change that alters the quantity demanded at every price. That's a little confusing, so I rewrote it this way. Essentially what I'm saying is the first part of this, we showed you what price actually does, and that's just movement along the line. Now we're getting into actually talking about the line shifting due to other reasons, okay? What I mean by this, at every price. So let's say we have a dot right here on the demand line. And remember, this is price over here. Price always goes here. Quantity is always represented here, okay? Let's say this is $5. If you wanted to change the price of that, you would move the dot up or down the line to move the price. But if you just wanted to move quantity, keep it at the exact same price, you're just going to shift the line. So if we shift the line this way, the dot's solely going to move to right here. And the quantity is going to go from, let's say, 5 to 6. So that's an increase. So that would be an increase in demand, okay? Now, if we wanted to do a decrease in demand at every price, D2, D2, then we would put it right here, still at $5, but the quantity has now changed. So right now we're talking about, when we shift the line, we're solely talking about the quantity itself changing, not the price. The price does not change. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so while we're doing this next part, I really want you to be taking notes with me as I run you through this because this is extremely important. And I'm going to move this a little bit closer here. And I'm going to move my camera up a little bit. Even though it's a really bad angle for me, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to run you through what actually shifts the demand curve, okay? There is an, is it called an acronym? Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's called TIRES. It's in your notebook guide. If you have your notebook guide pulled up, this could be extremely helpful for you, okay? So this is what we call TIRES. Each of these letters represents something that causes a shift in demand, okay? What I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try to fill this in and then draw a graph to represent each of them. We'll see how this goes. This does not erase as well as whiteboards do at school, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so T stands for the taste and preference of consumers. So taste and preference, I don't think I spelled that right, whatever, of consumers, oh Jesus, consumers, okay. Taste and preference of consumers. So when we're looking for an example of this, we're thinking, okay, so if people's taste change in favor of a good, so like if somebody, let's say a celebrity starts endorsing an item, okay? Let's say you are solely using Crest toothpaste, but all of a sudden your favorite celebrity, let's say Beyonce comes out and she's like, hey yo, I use Colgate and you should too. And everyone goes, oh my gosh, I should be using Colgate if I want teeth as beautiful as Beyonce. That's gonna cause demand to increase because a celebrity said, hey, this is better than the others, which is going to look like this. Let me draw my graph. Quantity, price, 0. Original demand line, we call this D1, okay? Let's say I want to keep giving you a price that we're at to show you that the price never changes, okay? Price never changes. There's the dot, okay? So if Beyonce comes out and she's like, Colgate is so much better than Crest and you should definitely be using Colgate because that's how I get my teeth this great, the demand for Colgate is gonna like skyrocket, okay? Which means demand is going to shift which way? To show an increase in quantity. So right now, let's say quantity is at 5. We're just gonna give it a random number, okay? If we wanted to increase the quantity based on taste and preference of consumers, which way are we gonna go? We're gonna shift the line to the right. So we're gonna shift the line to the right. We're gonna call that D2 right here. Shows all of a sudden the quantity jumps up to 7, an increase in quantity. Does not change the price of the item. Price does not change because Beyonce likes Colgate, just the quantity demanded by consumers. Remember, we're talking demand, only talking about consumers today. Great? Cool. Okay. So that's the example for taste and preference for consumers. Now let me see if I can get this to. I mean, it's not the best, but it's better than nothing. So here we are. Okay, let's look at this graph as if this was the graph for Crest. So if Beyonce comes out and says, hey yo, I use Colgate for my little teethers to make them stay so pearly white, then everybody's gonna wanna go to Colgate. What's gonna happen to the demand for Crest? Okay? What is gonna happen to the demand for Crest? If Beyonce's like, hey, go use Colgate, that's how I get my beautiful pearly white teeth, and that's what you're going to too. What's gonna happen to Crest? What's gonna happen to the demand for Crest? What's gonna happen? Which way are we gonna go? We're gonna go to the left. We're gonna go to the left, okay? Again, price does not change. Price does not change. Price is the same, still at $5. However, the quantity that is being demanded has now decreased because everyone's buying Colgate and not Crest. This is just an example, by the way. So if you're like a pro enamel person, you do you. If you're like a organic Tom's toothpaste, like you do you. This is just an example. So that's what I mean when I talk about taste preference, consumer preference. Okay. Let's talk about what the I stands for. So the I stands for, anyone want to guess? No? Okay. Income of consumers. So we're talking about the actual money coming into households. We're not talking about the price of the item. We're talking about how much money people are making. Okay. Using current relevant examples, right now a lot of people have lost their jobs or have been laid off or are getting paid less because they're not working due to COVID-19. Okay? That would be a change in income of consumers. So if we're looking at that, people are losing their jobs, people are not making as much money, what is going to naturally happen to the demand line? Now, hold on, I forgot a part of this. Let's say we're at $5 for an item. and here, let's say quantity demanded, it was at 5. Let's say something that's not necessarily a need or clothes. I mean, it's a need, but like right now, you don't necessarily. Anyways, like you're like designer clothes, okay? Designer clothes. We'll go with that. Designer clothes. Let's go with that. I like that much better. Designer clothes, okay? Okay. So if people's income is decreasing, if people's income is going down because not as many people are working, because companies are laying people off because they don't have much work to do because of COVID-19, which way naturally is the demand line going to shift if people don't have as much money to spend? We're going to go to the left because people don't have as much money to spend. So all of a sudden, the price of the item, the price of the designer clothes is not going down. It's just that less people can afford to buy them, which means the quantity is going to decrease as well because less people are able to buy them. Okay? That is an example if income of consumers were to decrease. Now, if all of a sudden everyone started getting raises at work, let's say every single person on this planet started to increase their income. Everyone was getting raises, everybody was getting jobs, higher paying jobs, like bam. And people had even more money to spend. Which way are we going to shift the demand line? To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. We're going to shift it to the right, okay? So people have more money to spend. They're like, yes, girl, I have all the money to spend because I've been doing my time. Let's go buy some Gucci. The price of Gucci isn't going to change. It's still going to be $5, which if you find something at Gucci for $5, let me know, girl. But you're only going to shift the quantity. So all of a sudden, people have more money to spend. Bam. Gucci's starting to see, okay, we have an increase in the amount of items we're selling because everyone has more money. This is how we see if the economy's healthy or not. Anyways, it's just it's just the criteria. So now, again, we're going to break. I'll be right back. By the way, I don't think any of you care about this, but I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. I'm using nail polish remover to get this marker off of the wall here in my shower because water, it does not work. You need something stronger, and like alcohol, like the 70% alcohol doesn't work either, so I'm using nail polish remover. And let me just tell you, there's a strong scent of nail polish remover in this shower right now. Anyways, rant over. Okay. Moving on. We're going to talk about the R. What's a good example of an R? Okay, so R is kind of a weird one. There's two things that go under R, okay? The first one we're going to talk about, because R talks about related goods. So do you remember before when I was talking about Crest and Colgate? Okay, well, let's take Crest and Colgate again, okay? If you care to know, I use Colgate. Anyways, those two are substitutes for one another. They're related goods. They're substitutes. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Oh, yes. Yep. Sorry. I'm confusing people. Yes, they're substitutes for one another. Okay? So here's the deal. We talked about this a little bit earlier with the Beyonce example. It's very similar, although this time we're not talking Beyonce. Let's say something else happens. Let's say, all of a sudden, no, let's use the same example. Just makes sense. Beyonce's still out there like, Colgate is the winner. It makes your teeth whiter. She's out there saying that. Everyone else is like, she's right. Colgate's the best. Okay, it's the same exact thing. If we're talking about the market demand for the substitute, okay? So let's say this is good A and good B, okay? If the demand for good A was to increase, let's say people are like, cool, Crest is the best out there and there's no denying it. And Crest is like selling a whole bunch, okay? Because Kanye now came out and said, Crest is the best. And now everyone's going to buy Crest. Good A, what's going to happen in the market for the substitute, good B, Colgate? What's going to happen for Colgate? If Kanye's like, Crest is where it's at, girl. For Colgate, demand is going to decrease to the left. So again, hi. Your price is still at $5. We're going to get $5 for all of these, okay? The quantity's at 5. Well, if Kanye comes out and says Crest is where it's at, Colgate, what's going to happen to the demand for it? Assuming what's going to happen to the demand for it. We is going to decrease, okay? So the quantity demanded is going to decrease because Kanye is talking about Crest and he's like, dude, Crest is where it's at. Demand for Colgate is going to decrease because it's a substitute. If more people are buying Crest, it's just obvious that less people are buying and demanding Colgate, okay? Okay, let's say, sorry guys. Okay, I figured it out. So naturally, if this is good B, if good B is decreasing, demand is decreasing, and they're substitutes for one another, what is naturally going to happen to the demand curve for Crest? If Colgate has a decrease in demand, what's going to happen to Crest? If Crest, assuming Crest was the only other option, well, we're going to increase, okay? All of a sudden, Crest is now selling 7, so they have a demand increase, okay? This is an example of substitute goods. If one substitute is decreasing in demand, we assume that the other item, good, whatever, is increasing. They're opposite, okay? Okay, BRB. Okay, so I forgot to write it up here, so make sure you write it in your notes. But the first one under R is related goods substitutes. The second one under R is related goods complements. It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, it's peanut butter jelly time. So a good example of complements would be peanut butter and jelly. So, because they usually go together, usually, again, don't come fight me on this. Usually they do, I get it. I'm a peanut butter gal too, I don't do jelly. I don't. But for the sake of this example, peanut butter and jelly are complements. And let's pretend we're in utopia where everyone only eats peanut butter with jelly. Okay. So, peanut butter and jelly are complements for one another. So, this is where it gets a little confusing. Bear with me, okay? Let's say this is good A and this is good B, okay? I'm sorry, I have to do good A and good B, GA, GB, okay? Let's say the price for peanut butter. Let's say the price for peanut butter were to increase, okay? Price were to increase for peanut butter, okay? Jelly is a complement for peanut butter. What is naturally going to happen when the price increases? What have we learned about demand? When the price increases, what happens to the quantity demanded? Quantity is going to decrease, okay? So if peanut butter's price goes up, quantity goes down. Nothing is happening with jelly. However, if they are complements, what is going to happen for the quantity demanded of jelly? Demand for jelly is also going to decrease because remember they complement one another. So if we're selling less peanut butter, if we're buying less peanut butter, we're buying less jelly, okay? Again, this can be shown on the graph. A decrease moves to the left, right over here, okay? Again, for jelly, this graph is for jelly, okay? The price is not changing for jelly. The price is only changing for peanut butter, for this example, okay? The price is still the same for jelly, but because it's a complement of peanut butter and people are buying less peanut butter, people are naturally going to buy less jelly, which means that the quantity demanded of jelly is going to decrease. If you need to rewatch that part like 5 times, I totally understand. I get it. Okay. Let's erase this now. Okay. Let's say now in the new world, next week, the price of peanut butter actually goes down. What's going to happen to the quantity demanded of peanut butter? Like we learned in 4.1. What's going to happen to the quantity demanded? When the price decreases, what happens to consumers' demands? We want more because it's cheaper. So the quantity demanded is going to go up. So if the amount of peanut butter being demanded goes up and jelly is a complement, what is going to happen to the quantity demanded of jelly? The quantity demanded is going to go to the right, to the right. It's going to increase. Quantity is going to increase. Again, we are not changing the price of jelly at all. The only price for this example we're changing is peanut butter, but we're not graphing that, so it don't matter, okay? When we shift this, we're going to shift it to the right, and that shows you that the quantity is increasing at the same exact price. Jelly throughout this entire example has been $5 this entire time. The only thing that's changed is the price of peanut butter and how much peanut butter people are willing to buy at that price. Since it's a complement, since jelly's a complement, the demand for that's going to move as well, okay? Okay, really quick because I want to run over this with you. Here are some examples. You're going to tell me, well, actually, you can scream at the screen if you want, if that makes you feel better while you're watching this. I don't recommend it, but try to do these in your own head and write down whether they're a substitute or complement, okay? Cars and tires. Definitely complements. You need one to use the other, okay? Peas and green beans. That's a substitute. You don't always need to have them together, but you should at least have one or the other. DVD players and DVDs. Complements. You need a DVD player to watch DVDs and you need DVDs to use the DVD player. Anyways, you know how that works. Natural gas and electricity. That one's a substitute. That one's a little more challenging, unless you own a house and you know how all that works. That one's a substitute. Cereal and milk. That's definitely a complement because most people, when they have cereal, have milk with it. I know, but Miss Milk, I eat my cereal without milk, smells gross. Okay, good for you. Let's do it. Toast and jam. He calls it jam. Toasted jam. Definitely a compliment. Definitely compliment. Definitely. No one likes dry toast. And if you do, let's talk. Okay. Sweatshirts and sweaters. You usually don't wear them together. If you do, you do you. But there's substitutes. You buy one, you don't get the other. You get the other, you don't buy the other. Whatever, all just for example purposes. Okay, moving on. The E in our lovely little, oh, I'm sorry, I just moved the chair. Our lovely little situation going on up here. The E stands for an expectation of future price changes. Expectations of future price changes. Future expectations of price changes. Okay, if consumers expect the price of a good to rise, what are they going to do right now? Okay, back to our graph. Quantity and price, 0. Remember, we're only focused on the demand portion here, okay? So the price right now is at this exact very moment is $5, okay? For, let's say $5 for, I don't know, what's $5? I can't think of a good example. Well, let's say there's a shirt right now. There's a shirt you want to buy and it's only $5. Okay, it's a really good deal for a shirt. You should probably buy that like right now. If we're expecting, so let's say this shirt is on sale for $5 this week only. Next week it goes back to its original price of $10. What is going to happen to the demand for that shirt this week at $5? Demand is going to increase this week because you want to buy the shirt at $5, not at $10. Okay? Same goes for if you are buying a $5 shirt. Again, let's say you're buying a $5 shirt, but the ad comes out for next week for Target, and you see that same shirt is on sale for $2.50. What's going to happen to the demand for that shirt this week? The demand for that shirt is going to decrease this week because we know that the price is getting slashed in half starting next week. So this is all about expectations of future price changes. If it's expected to change in times in the future, how does that affect demand at this exact present moment? This is probably the letter that confuses the most people. So please make sure you spend extra time if you're still really confused and you're sitting there like, Miss Nelson, I don't get what you're talking about. Okay, so then the last one on here is the size of the population / market. This is solely based upon like births and deaths and who's living in a community and who's not and how many people are living there, and next week did a new family move in and all of a sudden we have more people. So if there's more people coming into a market or coming into a population, of course demand's going to increase because there's more people who need the stuff. If all of a sudden people are dying at every rate possible, you have less people are going to be demanding stuff. Okay? I don't know how many times I can say this, but I'm going to continue to say it. A decrease in demand shifts to the left and an increase in demand shifts to the right. Decrease to the left. Increase to the right. Okay. If you have to make up a song, I don't care. If you want to write it a million times in your notes, do it. You need to know this, okay? All right. So the deal is here. Shifts of the demand curve happen for all of these reasons. But there's one thing that never shifts the demand curve. What is it? Price. The price on this side will never shift the demand curve. It only moves the dot on the line up and down if it has to do with price. Okay? If it has to do with price, it is not a curve, not a shift in the curve. The only exception to that is if it's an example that uses related complementing goods and services, or if we're talking expectations of future price changes. But the actual price for the item will not shift the actual demand curve. Okay? Okay. So that's what I needed to show you. I know. It's a little confusing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys, but I don't believe that there is. I believe that's all I needed to tell you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in my shower again. This video was longer, but I think it's necessary. Please rewatch this. Rewatch certain parts if you have to. You do you. You guys are amazing. You're doing incredible. Reach out to me if you need anything. Email me. I check it constantly, and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next lesson where we'll learn about shifts in the supply curve.